Now let's have a look at the Rumen8 menus and setting it up for first time use. First off, let's save our existing diet because we've made some changes and they haven't been saved yet. So we choose the File menu and Save As and give the diet a name. Now I like to put the date in the file name, so it just makes it easy to use, well, easy to find a diet of the same time of the year next year or the year after when I want to refer back to them. So today's the 7th of March, so we'll just put that on the front. And then a broad description of what's in there. So this is a ryegrass barley diet, so we'll just say that in the file name and click Save. This side of things works like every other Windows program, so you can see now we've saved the diet and there's the name. If you wanted to open an existing diet, just choose File, Open, choose the diet from the list and click on Open, and we're back to our existing diet. The other option that you're likely to use at least once under the File menu is the Preferences, because we need to set up Rumen8 to suit you first up. In here you set the units for all the parameters that, and how you prefer to see them. So do you prefer to see milk production expressed as litres or kilograms? Do you prefer to see the milk components as mass or mass volume? So do your fat and protein measurements come as grams per litre or grams per kilogram of milk? I prefer litres and mass volume at the moment, so we'll leave those both as they are. Feed concentration units can be expressed as grams per kilogram or as a percentage, so things like NDF and sugar can be shown as grams per kilogram or percentage. I prefer percentage, so we'll change that. And proportions also to do with feeds. So do you prefer to see 0.1, 0.2 of 1 or as a percentage like 10% or 20%? And I'll leave those as a proportion. Lastly, something you might like to come back to later on is the tooltips detail. When you first get Rumen8, it's got tooltips details set to extended, so when you hover the mouse over any of the various parameters around the windows, you'll get a large window with a lot of information about it. Once you've been using Rumen8 for a while, you might want to set that down so it just gives you one-line reminders or turn it off completely, and you can do that here. We'll leave that as extended for the time being. The second tab in Preferences is the Advanced tab. A lot of these parameters are to do with the animal model that lives behind Rumen8, and small changes can make big differences to the requirements it calculates for the cow. So the majority of this, we'd say leave it alone unless you really know what you're doing. Lastly, we've got the Recommended Levels tab, and we'll talk about this in more detail later on, but just so you know where it is, it lives in Preferences on the 3rd tab. We'll just close out of Preferences. Now the next menu that you're likely to use is the Animal tab. Rumen8 has built into it a series of standard animals, so you can quickly start with an animal that's approximately right for you. You just do that by going down to the Animal tab, Animal menu I should say, use a standard animal and choose the volume of lactation for the animal that you've got. So let's say a 7,000 litre animal, and they're in early lactation. You click on that and there we are, it's changed all the animal parameters to approximately what that sort of an animal, 7,000 litre early lactation cow would be producing. So this gives you a starting point for you to now fine tune that to suit your actual animal that you're working on today. Also under the Animal tab, if you're doing diets for dry cows, you can dry the current animal off here by selecting that option, or move the current animal into the Springer mob, and that assumes that they're a couple of weeks prior to calving, and it will set the animal parameters accordingly. We'll skip over the View menu for the time being and now just have a quick look at the Help menu. First off, we've got Check for Updates. Rumen8 will periodically check for updates itself, but if you know there's an update up on the website, just come into the Help menu, click on Check for Updates, and you can see down here it's checking for an update, and it's got a green tick. We've already got the latest version. If there is a later version, it will prompt you to update and give you the option to see what's changed. Also under the Help menu is the registration. When you first get Rumen8, you can send me an email and I'll send you back a registration code for Rumen8 to unlock all of its functions. Come into the Help menu, under here you can type in your name and registration code exactly as it gets sent to you in the email, and click on the registration button and Rumen8 will unlock. Right, that